This is London.
Hello wrestling fans, I'm Fiona Fox and welcome to another edition of LDN Capital TV, right here exclusively on the Fight Network. We're back once again from the Drill Hall in Ware this week with another exciting hour of action and two great matches. After scoring a huge win over Jonathan Hardwick in his impressive debut match a fortnight ago, former paratrooper Lee Walker will be looking for another victory this week as he goes up against Mike Mendoza. And another title defence for Yorghos, who has publicly stated that he will happily take on any and all comers for the LDN British Championship. This week he's putting the belt on the line against the man he won it from at Legend Showdown, gentleman John Ritchie. So let's head down to ringside and join the man who calls the matches, Mr. TV, John Atkins.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to LDN Capital TV right here at the Drill Hall in Ware, exclusively on the Fight Network. My name is John Atkins, and for the next 1 hour we will be bringing you the top wrestling entertainment here in the UK today. And what a way to kick things off this week here on Capital TV, a matchup between Lee Walker and Mike Mendoza. Lee Walker made his LDN Capital TV debut just 2 weeks ago here on Capital TV. Back in the All Saints Arts Centre in Totteridge, he took on the former councillor Jonathan Hardwick and defeated Hardwick in his debut. A very impressive outing for the young man Lee Walker, a man who served his country in Iraq, a former paratrooper. He was able to get a victory over Jonathan Hardwick, but how will he fare over Mike Mendoza? Mendoza, one of the most well-respected members of the LDN roster, a very accomplished athlete in his own right. He is in fantastic shape as always. And I think both of these men are looking forward to the challenge here tonight on Capital TV.
And his opponent from South London, please welcome Mike Mendoza!
And a great ovation there for Mike Mendoza, one of the true stalwarts of LDN. A man who has been a perennial contender for every championship going. However, unfortunately for him, has never quite won the big one. Nonetheless, still a hugely respected member of the LDN roster, a big fan favourite here. And the bell rings and this matchup is underway. And Lee Walker, a man who served in Iraq, going toe-to-toe with Mike Mendoza. He didn't back down from Saddam Hussein, and he's not backing down from Mendoza. They are going at it, collar and elbow. Nice lock-up there from these two men. Mendoza just forcing Walker back into the corner. And I have a sneaking suspicion these two men are going to be very well matched indeed. Similar size-wise, I think Mendoza's just got a couple of inches on Walker, but nonetheless, they've got a very similar wrestling style. Both men big on the power moves. A lot of natural strength for both of them. And indeed, it is the slightly smaller Walker who has got Mendoza on his knees at this stage. And let us not forget, fans, coming up later in the hour, the LDN British Championship will be defended right here in the main event of Capital TV, as Yorghos puts his belt up on the line against the former champion, the notorious John Ritchie, or Gentleman John, as he prefers to be known now. Another lock-up here, and neither man really getting the upper hand in this matchup, showing just how evenly matched they are. And believe it or not, it's the smaller Lee Walker who seems to have the strength advantage, certainly in the early goings. Mendoza looking to reverse the momentum there. And Lee Walker in a bridge, using his natural strength and quickness to go behind. He's got that full Nelson on. That's actually a move that Mike Mendoza likes to use himself. And Mendoza showing him how it's done. Nice reversal. And nicely escaped there. Falls back into the move. And Walker with a nice side headlock. And again, it's like these two men have known each other for years. They are matching each other move for move. Big shoulder block there from Lee Walker. Mendoza goes down. Up and over with a leapfrog and an arm drag. Walker holds on. And now Mendoza back in that headlock. And so far, if anything, it's Lee Walker who's got the upper hand against the more experienced Mike Mendoza. Nonetheless, real back and forth action from these two young men here in the opening contest of this week's Capital TV, exclusively on the Fight Network, right here at the Drill Hall in Ware in Hertfordshire. As usual this week here on Capital TV, we will be bringing you the very best wrestling action the UK has to offer, including, of course, that big championship matchup later in the hour between the new champion Yorghos Christopoulos and the former champion John Ritchie. Yorghos, of course, defeated Ritchie just weeks ago here on Capital TV at the massive Legends Showdown event. And he has already successfully defended the championship against Tex Benedict. He has vowed to be a fighting champion. And later tonight, the former champ gets his rematch here at the Drill Hall. But right now, Mike Mendoza's got his hands full with Lee Walker. And he's doing everything he can to keep him on the mat. Walker looking for that headstand escape. And I think he's going to get it. Very nicely done. Very impressively executed. And the two men just back off for a split second. A lot of mutual respect here between the two athletes. Both in tremendous condition. And this is a quality contest to kick things off here on this week's edition of LDN Capital TV. Walker with the takedown. And the former paratrooper looks to twist him over into that Boston Crab. And Mendoza doesn't want to get caught in that trap. Whips across the ring. Oh, big chop there to the chest. And another two send Walker down hard. Stomp to the midsection. And maybe it's just my imagination, but is this a more aggressive Mike Mendoza we're seeing here this week? Cover gets two. And Walker with the kick out. Mendoza keeps on him though. And a big suplex. He just hoisted the youngster right up in the air and planted him down. And again, just another 2 count. Walker back on those legs. And again, Mendoza knows exactly what he's going for and does not want to get caught. Takedown there from Mendoza. And these two men are just so evenly matched. Neither one has been able to score a decisive advantage so far in the matchup. A real seesaw contest, back and forth. Both men trading the advantage. Both men back up to their feet. And it looks to be Mendoza in control. But he gets whipped off the rope and across the ring, and he catches Walker with a nice clothesline on the way back. And again, another couple of stomps to the ribs of Lee Walker. And some harsh blows on the back. And frankly, that is quite unsporting from Mike Mendoza. A roll up there from Lee Walker. That could be all. And no, now he's got the legs tied up. But an inside cradle there from Mendoza. And again, both men so evenly matched. It's like they each know what the other one is thinking.
These are dangerous days. These are dangerous days.
And as I was saying, it might just be my imagination, but I think we are seeing a more aggressive Mike Mendoza than we have ever seen here before in LDN. Certainly those blows to the back of Lee Walker when Walker was on the ground, very unsporting. Another roll up there from Walker. The legs are down. He's tied up the legs. This time he might have it. He's looking for that figure four. Can't quite get it on. He can't quite hook it properly, but he's trying to get him in the middle of the ring, and now he's got it on. And now he's got it on, and we saw Mendoza just grab his face. He is in absolute agony. He rests his shoulders for the count of 2, but he knows he can't let it down for another second. And Walker may well be seconds away from victory here. He's already 1-0. He'd love to get a second win here on Capital TV just a fortnight after his debut. But the pure strength of Mendoza, too much for Walker to overcome. And he uses his own brute force to reverse the hold. And fortunately for Walker, he was just close enough to that bottom rope to avoid getting trapped for too long. Mendoza with that big scoop slam that he's famous for. And he drops the elbow across the chest. And a second elbow for good measure across the jawline there. Maybe he's going to go for a third. And changes his mind and stomps the head. And now I'm not wondering, I'm absolutely certain this is a far more aggressive Mendoza. Big spear there, Walker goes down hard. And Mendoza is, quite frankly, I have not seen him so aggressive in many, many months. Hoists up Walker, goes for that running power slam. Walker puts the brakes on, rolls him up, there's the cover, and he gets it out of nowhere. A big win here for Lee Walker over Mike Mendoza, very impressive indeed. And let's just take a look at that. Mendoza had Walker up in the air for that running power slam. Walker slid down the back and just rolled Mendoza up for that 3 count. And Lee Walker, the newcomer here in LDN, is 2-0. He defeated Jonathan Hardwick in his debut just 2 weeks ago. And now tonight scores a second win over a frustrated Mike Mendoza. And Mendoza not taking this win in good grace, I have to say.
Hello fans, Fiona Fox here, ready to dish out another generous helping of backstage news and gossip from the London Eye. And great excitement this week as we await the debut of Britain's top export, the anarchist Doug Williams, next week here on Capital TV. With his debut match set to take place in front of what should be a sold-out Thurrock Civic Hall in Grays, Williams said he was very proud to be making his way to LDN and is looking forward to challenging for the LDN British Championship later in the year. One man who's not happy about the arrival of Doug Williams, however, is his opponent Danny Garnell. Garnell has apparently been complaining bitterly to anyone who will listen about the fuss being made over Williams' arrival. In a recent worrying statement, Garnell has promised to make the match a memorable experience for Doug Williams. When we approached the anarchist for a comment, he said simply that he did his talking in the ring and it would take more than a hollow threat from the likes of Garnell to take the shine off his LDN debut. And we bring you that match in full next week right here on Capital TV. That's all we've got time for on the London Eye this week, but don't go anywhere as coming up next is a very special main event. Yorghos Christopoulos defends the LDN British Championship against the former champ John Ritchie.
Well fans, main event time here this week on LDN Capital TV, right here at the Drill Hall in Ware in Hertfordshire. We bring you an exclusive LDN British Championship title matchup. Here is your challenger, gentleman John Ritchie, led to the ring by his ever-present accomplice Danny Garnell. Ritchie, of course, the former LDN British champion. He lost the belt just a matter of weeks ago at Legend Showdown against Yorghos Christopoulos, the Mediterranean sensation. And since that defeat, Ritchie seems to have undergone somewhat of an entire character transformation, reimagining himself as the, well, instead of the notorious hard man from the East End of London, he now likes to be called Gentleman John Ritchie. And here tonight he gets his rematch for the championship against the Mediterranean sensation, Yorghos Christopoulos. What about this is going to be, fans? Spirit rules.
And his opponent.
Sound can only mean one thing. It is the entrance of your LDN British champion, Yorghos Christopoulos. And what an ovation for the young man here at the Drill Hall as he makes his way to the ring with the most valuable prize in British wrestling today. The most important championship belt in the sport in the United Kingdom. The belt that every wrestler in the country is striving to wear. And only a select handful of men ever have worn it so far. Yorghos is one of them, and John Ritchie is another. And Yorghos ever so popular among the young fans here in LDN. There goes a young man with no sense of rhythm whatsoever. Notwithstanding, this is going to be a fantastic contest. Spirit rules, 6 rounds, 3 minutes apiece. 2 pinfalls, 2 submissions, or 1 knockout will decide the winner, and indeed, the LDN British champion. Yorghos, as you can see, very smiley, still in that honeymoon period as champion. Still thoroughly enjoying walking to the ring with that big gold belt. There's your challenger, fans. Fighting words there from a fighting champion. And great to see the young Lee Walker already in his corner. Walker proving that he has come to LDN to learn. And what better way than to stand in the corner of the champion during a title defense against the former champion. So far, very little evidence of the gentlemanly behaviour supposedly now employed by John Ritchie. Indeed, I don't think a hat and bottled water makes you a gentleman. Nonetheless, a left hook before the bell certainly doesn't make you a gentleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 3 has disqualified John Ritchie.
Well, how about that? How about that? It's a good call by the referee, Chris Roberts, but what does that mean for the matchup? Had the match even started, can he disqualify John Ritchie? Some fierce discussion going on at ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match will continue. However, John Ritchie receives his first penalty.
Well, that might be a slightly more reasonable call there. Nonetheless, Chris Roberts showing that he's not to be messed with. And I think that would have been a disqualification. However, the bell hadn't actually rung to start the matchup. But what a big disadvantage that has put Yorghos at. Before the bell had even rung, a huge left hook to the temple of Yorghos. And Yorghos quite shaken up by that. And I don't think that's how he would have envisaged this second title defense to begin. But he's a fighting champion. He backs down from nobody. Least of all, gentleman John Ritchie.
These are dangerous days. These are dangerous days.
And so far, I am not impressed by the gentleman. One little bit. A funny hat does not a gentleman make, nor does bottled water. And I think it's pretty safe to say that underneath the fancy hat, he is still exactly the same notorious John Ritchie that we've ever known. But it's a roll-up there from Yorghos. And barely a 1 count, but it was well worth the try. And in the first round, it would have been great if Yorghos could have scored a quick pinfall over the challenger. But you can see Yorghos still clutching the side of his head. And that's all thanks to that blow thrown by John Ritchie before the bell had even rung. And Ritchie is such a dangerous proposition in the ring when you're going up against gentleman John Ritchie, because you know, not only does he know every trick in the book, but he is a great wrestler as well, a very, very sound technical wrestler with many years' experience. Plus no compunctions whatsoever about breaking the rules. So Yorghos certainly has a fight in his hands here tonight if he wants to hold on to that British Championship that he fought so hard to win. And let's not forget, John Ritchie himself, no stranger to the belt. He held it for over 14 months here in LDN, right until Legends Showdown. And we saw that just a few weeks ago here on Capital TV at the Broxbourne Civic Hall. Yorghos had the night and indeed the fight of his life, defeating Gentleman John and walking out of the Broxbourne Civic Hall with the gold belt. But Ritchie not likely to take that lying down. He held the belt for 14 months. He enjoyed wearing it, and I am sure he would love to wear it again. And I would not be surprised if he has made it his personal mission not to leave the drill hall and wear here tonight without that belt. stomp to the head of Yorghos. And Yorghos might be in trouble because so far, this round has been all John Ritchie. And that is all thanks to that left hook struck by Ritchie before the bell had even sounded to start the matchup. Another blow there to the midsection and a right hook. And I'm not so sure that wasn't a closed fist there from John Ritchie. Knee to the face sends Yorghos down. And that is right on the bell. I believe that was the bell signifying the end of the round, but the referee continues the standing 10 count. But Yorghos does return to his feet in the nick of time. And the matchup continues. Ritchie with an elbow to the back of the head. Forces Yorghos face first into the canvas. Looking maybe for a submission there. And that looks like it could well be a chokehold. But referee Chris Roberts is in a great position. And he says that it is legal. So it can't be cutting off the air supply. Nonetheless, it is a very debilitating move. And indeed, there it is. Roberts finally decides that it is a chokehold. And he issues John Ritchie with the 5 count, which Ritchie breaks in the nick of time. And finally, that was the bell for the end of round 1. And the two men are separated and go back to their individual corners. And their respective corner men. Ritchie accompanied by his accomplice, Danny Garnell. And over in Yorghos' corner, the corner of the champion, Yorghos' new friend, Lee Walker, who we saw in action earlier here this hour in Capital TV with a very decisive victory over Mike Mendoza. Walker is clearly here in LDN to learn. And let's hope he's also able to offer Yorghos some great moral support as well in between the rounds. Ritchie comes out fighting in this for second round. The score still 0-0. And these two, of course, had that classic bout just weeks ago at the Broxbourne Civic Hall, which saw Yorghos crowned the new LDN British champion. Yorghos came out here on Capital TV a couple of weeks ago back at the All Saints Arts Centre in Totteridge and vowed to be a fighting champion, and so far he has kept that promise very well indeed, successfully defending the championship against Tex Benedict a fortnight ago. And Ritchie's not happy about something, but I don't think he's got any cause for complaint so far. I think the referee has done an excellent job. And I don't think I've ever seen Yorghos ever so much as bend the rules, let alone break them. So if Ritchie's complaining about something, it's almost certainly a case of filibustering. Just wasting time, running down the clock, trying to frustrate his opponent, Yorghos. Because when you're frustrated, you make mistakes, and that is exactly what John Ritchie's banking on. Yorghos has got a very solid ground plan, a very technical base from which to work. And indeed, even at this young age, he's still a very accomplished athlete with a strong amateur background. But he is still only human. He is prone to human emotions. And if John Ritchie can rile up those emotions, then maybe he can force Yorghos to make a mistake and capitalise on that mistake. But it's Yorghos back in control, and Ritchie goes flying across the ring. A kick to the buttocks there. And Yorghos having a little bit of fun with John Ritchie. And indeed, it is Yorghos who is frustrating the challenger. A size 11 boot right to that left buttock. Oh, and Ritchie has the same idea, and it doesn't quite work out as planned. There's a cover, and just a 1 count. Ritchie went to kick Yorghos in the bottom, but Yorghos was long gone. And a nice roll-up from Yorghos there, nearly caught the challenger off guard. These two men, of course, know each other very well indeed. Yorghos was chasing Ritchie for many months before he finally got the title shot at Broxbourne. He pinned the champion at least once in the run-up to that match in a tag team bout, before finally defeating him in singles competition at the Legends Showdown. And from there on in, he hasn't looked back. But how much longer can he hold on here at the Drill Hall in Ware? We're already well into the second round. And still 0-0. European uppercut to the throat of Yorghos. A very damaging move indeed. Snapmare takedown, leg drop. Nice combination of moves there from the challenger. And perhaps indeed the only thing refined about John Ritchie is his moveset. He is a very accomplished wrestler indeed. And he will come at you from every angle. Ritchie there, I believe, sending out a message to the corner man of Yorghos, Lee Walker. I think he was saying, don't get any ideas, son. Well, there's the bell for the end of round 2, and again, Yorghos, I think, complaining perhaps there was a closed fist from John Ritchie right on the bell. And the referee really needs to keep a close eye on John Ritchie. Nonetheless, 2 rounds down, and the score still 0-0.
These are dangerous days. These are dangerous days.
If the match ends 0-0, Yorghos will remain the champion, but he wants to carry on his winning ways and defeat John Ritchie decisively. He doesn't want there to be any controversy whatsoever now that he's the champion. He is very proud of that belt, and hold on just a second. Well, the bell rings for the start of round 3, and Ritchie already 3/4 of the way across the ring. And fortunately for Yorghos, he saw him coming. And now Ritchie laying down the odds on the referee, and I don't think Chris Roberts is going to stand for that. For 1 second. And so we're in the 3rd round, and both men yet to lock up. A full Nelson there from John Ritchie. I'm not sure how well applied that is. Yorghos looking to power out. And if Ritchie's got the fingers clasped, then he won't be able to, but he didn't have them. The fingers were not interlocked, and Yorghos able to escape from that move fairly easily. And I think that's embarrassed John Ritchie, because Ritchie has caused many lesser men to submit with that full Nelson. And indeed, Ritchie now, I can't believe Ritchie is doing this. He is giving Yorghos a free full Nelson. And that is a mistake, because if there's one person you don't want to give a free shot to, it is Yorghos Christopoulos. And unlike John Ritchie, Yorghos has got that full Nelson cinched on nice and tight. And you can see John Ritchie turning purple. Unfortunately for Ritchie, he gets a foot in the ropes. And the hold is broken, but that was a big mistake there from John Ritchie. Why, in a matchup of this caliber, would you give a free shot to your opponent? And Yorghos gets the full Nelson on for a second time. And Ritchie back on the top rope. And that's a rather unique position. And Yorghos gives the clean break, but not in the style Ritchie would have liked it. And Ritchie goes to the outside to catch his breath. And I think, perhaps not for the first time, John Ritchie has underestimated his opponent here tonight. Yorghos stalking his opponent. He is waiting for John Ritchie to pay him some attention. And a pair of snapmare takedowns have no effect on Yorghos, who hoists Ritchie up in the air and plants him with an inverted atomic drop. Right to the base of the spine. And fans, coming up next week here on Capital TV, we will see the LDN debut of the anarchist Doug Williams in what is sure to be a fantastic contest. And now Yorghos turning things around with a couple of snapmare takedowns of his own, goes up top, rolls through the victory roll, the legs are hooked, and there's a 3 count, and in round 3, Yorghos goes up 1-0. A great victory roll there from Yorghos. And Yorghos goes up 1-0. And we take a quick look at a replay there. Yorghos just launches himself onto the shoulders of John Ritchie and uses his own body weight to propel the challenger forward. Hooks the legs, the shoulders are down, and 1, 2, 3, the score is 1-0 to Yorghos.
Now you want to watch me win?
And that is exactly at the half point of this contest. 3 rounds down, 3 to go. And the champion is 1-0 up. And indeed, fans, as I was saying, next week, right here on Capital TV, exclusively on the Fight Network, the LDN debut of the anarchist Doug Williams. And he will be taking on none other than John Ritchie's corner man here this evening, Danny Garnell. That is going to be a hard-hitting encounter for sure, and one you will not want to miss, so be sure to tune in next week to Capital TV. But right now, we are halfway through a very exciting championship matchup between Yorghos and gentleman John Ritchie. And as we make our way into the beginning of round 4, it is Yorghos, the champion, winning 1-0 against the challenger, gentleman John Ritchie, and Ritchie has come out fighting. I think something in Ritchie has just snapped. He has suddenly understood the severity of the situation, because one more fall from Yorghos and Ritchie's stock is going to start plummeting here in LDN. And Ritchie, of course, very keen to regain that championship belt that he held for over 14 months. And a loss here tonight, and he would begin to fall well out of contention for that championship. As the former champion, he is, of course, entitled to a rematch. And this is that contest, this is that rematch. But if he loses that, oh, hang on just a second, a blatant low blow. A blatant low blow, and the referee's back was turned, unfortunately. Well, excuse me, fans, no, Chris Roberts saw it completely. And he is standing no nonsense indeed. No hesitation at all in issuing a second and final public warning to John Ritchie. But that low blow brought Yorghos to his knees. And Ritchie is capitalising very strongly with that wrist lock. And you can see that wrist is bent back at 90 degrees in an angle it just wasn't meant to bend. Oh, Yorghos going up to the corner for leverage, and Danny Garnell's there. And Garnell should not be standing on the apron during the match. He should be standing on the floor of the ringside area, much like Lee Walker is doing now. That's one way of breaking the hold. A very athletic manoeuvre there by Yorghos. And with Yorghos one fall up, he only needs one more fall to win the matchup and retain the championship belt. And Garnell again standing up with that apron, and this time he forced Yorghos down. And the referee rightly admonishing Garnell. But Yorghos being attacked while on the mat, while Roberts' back is turned. Ritchie held on to the ropes. Yorghos is down. The Boston Crab is perfectly executed in the centre of the ring. And Yorghos has got no choice but to tap out there. And a submission there from Yorghos. And the matchup now evenly scored at 1-1. A submission square in the middle of the ring with a picture-perfect Boston Crab there from John Ritchie. Nicely done indeed. But it was all thanks to the interference of Danny Garnell, who tossed Yorghos off the middle rope. Yorghos was caught off guard, went for that drop kick. Ritchie held on to the ropes. And when Yorghos landed on the mat, Ritchie moved in for the kill with that picture-perfect Boston Crab, just wrenched it back, pulling on those legs, sitting down his whole body weight on the lower spine. And he was right in the middle of the ring, and there was nowhere Yorghos was going to go. And now we move into the penultimate round, round 5. The score tied at 1-1. And Yorghos is going to be absolutely furious about the way he lost that last round. Yorghos, of course, a very pleasant individual in day-to-day life, and always does his absolute utmost to wrestle by the rules. But the way he lost that last round was an absolute disgrace. And now Garnell continuing to lay on interference from the outside. Walker doing his best to point things out from the other side of the ring. And a big uppercut through the ropes from Danny Garnell. And Roberts, unfortunately, has only got one pair of eyes. He does the very best job that he can. But when people are going to interfere themselves from outside of the ring, there's only so much one man can do. But this is not a tag team matchup. And Danny Garnell has got no right whatsoever interjecting himself into this bout. And the referee needs to keep a very strict eye on him. Yorghos knocking down the champion. Yorghos going up top. Oh, and Garnell knocked him straight down. Surely the referee saw that. Well, he called straight for the bell. Well, I think Danny Garnell just cost his man the championship, because Yorghos wins the second fall by disqualification and the match by 2 falls to 1 in round 5. But it was Danny Garnell's fault. Yorghos had gone up to the top, and Danny Garnell just shoved him down back into the ring in plain view of the referee, leaving Chris Roberts with no option whatsoever but to call for the disqualification. And John Ritchie not happy about that whatsoever. And now Ritchie and Garnell taking it out on referee Chris Roberts. My goodness, this is outrageous. This is absolutely outrageous. Somebody needs to stop this madness right now. That is absolutely disgraceful behaviour. Both of those men should be fined and suspended from LDN immediately. Absolutely immediately. There is never any call for violence towards officials. We cannot have wrestlers laying their hands on non-wrestlers. It just cannot be allowed to take place. Those two men should be blackballed from the sport. Well, I don't think John Ritchie's going to be getting another shot at that championship belt in a hurry. He should face a disciplinary hearing for that. Those two men should be instantly expelled from LDN. I am thoroughly disgusted. Thoroughly disgusted. Congratulations to Yorghos. He has successfully retained the title, but it's a hollow victory, 2 falls to 1. Next week here on Capital TV, exclusively on the Fight Network, we will see the LDN debut of the anarchist Doug Williams as we return to the Thurrock Civic Hall in Grays. From me, John Atkins, and all of us here at LDN, we are just about out of time, but we'll see you next week.